Hey guys, my name is Ian Crew. I'm an instructor at the Joy of Dance Center in Toronto, Ontario, and a creator of SocialBallroom.Dance, where you can learn your dance at your place and your schedule. I'm joined today by Noel Miller. He's a fitness expert. Noel is exploring sort of a new approach to health and fitness, what he calls the healing art of exercise. And full disclosure, he's been very helpful for me in my own dance training, so very grateful to have you here with us, buddy.
Thank you very much for having me.
Why don't you start off by just telling us a little bit about, what made you decide to be more than just a fitness trainer?
So essentially, I grew up in the fitness industry. So from working behind the front desk, from being a junior trainer to organizing the trainers. And I saw a lot of the needs, the things that were missing.
Right.
From there, I looked more at therapies and stuff like that, chiropractic, massage therapy, and so on. And I also saw the needs that were missing there. And I realized that there are some gray areas that can cause people to slip through the cracks. And that's where my passion started to go, and to really help people that are having the most challenges trying to get healthy again or try to get fit again, whatever it is, based on their lifestyle.
Okay, nice. So you talk about sort of the healing art of exercise. Can you kind of explain that side of what you do a little more?
All right, so the healing art of exercise is from a lifestyle approach, meaning healing is the sense that you can self-heal, taking the time, listening to your body to tell you listening to your body to understand what it's telling you. Right? Art meaning that it's not just a prescription, right? It's not a procedure, it's a process. So there's more than just looking at this is a frozen shoulder and that's how it affects the body. The body is made up of several realms. Let's say energetic, let's say physical, let's say just how your mind thinks of a movement.
Yeah.
And if all these things can be, let's say, softer, can change, more adaptable, then just doing one specific exercise doesn't mean you're going to get the result that you want, although it might look like that. So that's where the art kind of comes. You really have to know the skills enough to fine-tune the things that are not explained so well by science.
So you're saying like sometimes things can make it seem like you're better superficially, but the underlying issue is not covered still, so that can still come up again and again and again until it's dealt with.
Yeah, essentially most people say, well, I have a shoulder issue,
yeah,
and they deal with the shoulder.
Right.
Right? But then there's also your mind and how it views that same pain. So if my mind is still afraid of the pain that I had here, I can still hold it like this, causing a different tension.
Right.
So I address the mind, it feels better, it's moving better, but it might just be the muscles themselves are not strong enough. There's certain muscles that need to make stronger. That's when the traditional therapy starts to work a little bit better. But there's just different rounds where the same thing can have multiple impacts in the body. And addressing only one aspect, you get half the solution or a little bit of the solution.
So how might dancers and other people who engage in a lot of physical activity use this more holistic approach, if you like, to protect themselves?
Yeah, okay, so let's take a look at stretching, for example. Most people view stretching as just being stiff and tight, so I'm not able to touch my toes.
Sure.
Right? Ultimately, more like from a dancing standpoint, it is limiting the expression of your body.
Right. So it's interesting, sorry, just want to cut in quickly, because ballroom dancing sort of stands out from other dance styles in that the other dancers don't usually stretch before they start dancing. In ballet, in lyrical and hip-hop, it's generally an accepted thing that, part of, say, a group class, you're going to have a bit of stretching to warm you up, or some sort of light exercise to get you going. But that's rarely done in the dancing universe. So, yeah, go on with how stretching can play a role here.
Yeah, so definitely with stretching and the expression of the body, every time there is a small area that is tight, it takes away from the overall flexibility.
Right.
Most people just think of flexibility as like, my calf is tight, but this tightness of the calf starts to affect the tightness of the lower back. This is through the fascial chain, right? And then as you get older, these things build. So when you go, somebody calls your name and you say, hey, Ian, how's it going? And you turn to them and you look like this. This is a different movement than just looking over your shoulder.
Right.
But it's so subtle that people don't really notice that it's happening So it kind of creeps up on you, and you yourself are not conscious. Somebody else is going to suggest to you, hey, you okay? You look a little stiff. When they're telling you look stiff, these things are already been set in motion, right? And if you want to have a nice, beautiful lines, a beautiful flow, you want to express yourself to the fullest, you have to have all this nice range and all this relaxed posture, or regardless, you will always look stiff.
So often people talk, or like students express frustration when they're having trouble doing what the instructor is asking them to do. And often it's not simply because they just don't get the technique, because a lot of students berate themselves, I think. They're really hard and think, oh, I must be just doing something wrong, or why can't I just get this? And sometimes it might be like a physiological thing that's really holding them back that needs to be addressed.
This is a very good point you make, actually. Because a lot of times with posture, right, most people talk about posture, stick your chest out, shoulders back, and hold this. This doesn't make sense. Why? Is because you can't just force the body to hold a posture. The muscles will relax how they want. There's deeper issues causing the posture. So just by forcing it back will not change it.
Right.
Although people tend to think, well, I sit up straight and things so much. No. You might cause more distress somewhere else. Because what is tight is still tight. Right? So it's more addressing this tightness by stretching, myofascial release, massage therapy. Take care of yourself. Have some fun. Do a massage every once in a while. This is good. At least it helps maintain the elasticity of the body.
Right.
And especially if you're going to really enjoy your dancing and you love it, you always have to maintain your body, right?
Yeah, of course.
If you're going to do work, you have to do some rest, some stretch, some relax to balance this out. And then you'll be able to enjoy your dance a lot longer. You will do a lot more moves, more expressive. You'll have more flavor to all the things that you enjoy doing with yourself.
So how does the whole concept of body awareness come to play? It's like being aware of what's going on in our body.
Body awareness is kind of like the superpower, right? So if you think of Superman, and he has these like hyper sense of hearing, hyper sense of speed, and all these kind of things, we have this to a lesser extent. But if we pay attention to our body, we can tell before we're going to shift our weight, where's it going to go? If we're going to slip, our body will adjust this information before we fall. But if we have tightness and stiffness, we're falling already, and we won't have enough awareness to catch ourselves. Or in a movement, you could be present. Oh, I know I need to turn a little bit more, and that turn feels like this. I'm there. I don't need you to tell me. I can feel it within myself. And it helps build the fluidity of a movement, and things start to mean more. Other than just being placed in the position, you're gaining information every time you're in the position. This is what it feels like. This is what the rotation should be. My weight should be here. You can feel the weight being there.
Right, right.
And when you make a mistake, you can internally be like, oh, you know what? Actually, Ian, my weight was on my heels that time. I felt it. And you're like, yes, I also felt that, and this is how we'll shift that. And it's easier for you as a teacher because you're getting more feedback from your clients and stuff like that. So I think that's very beneficial.
So essentially you're saying the better understanding I have what's going on inside my body, the better control I have over, what's going on. Like if I'm trying to make a movement look just so, I have a better understanding of what is involved in my body to make that happen. Or if something isn't working, I get a better sense of what's not quite going right in that case. So it's
Absolutely.
easy to correct.
Absolutely.
Now, in terms of sort of injury prevention, are there sort of common signals that the body can give when it's saying, hey, I'm unbalanced, I'm at risk of injuring myself?
Several times your body will warn you before it gets to the point of inhibiting your movement. So generally we only start looking at and paying attention to things when it has an expression, right? A tightness in the calf, a calf cramp, these things, then we're like, oh, well, I think something's wrong. And even then, we might not care. Right? We might continue, oh, I got one a week ago, and it's gone now, so it's okay. Absolutely not. These are the end warning signs you're getting now. When it starts to inhibit your performance, you are past the red zone, right? And injury is just around the corner. So this is where you really need to start paying attention. But generally what will happen is you'll have stiff feeling. You might have a cramp. You might wake up in the morning, it's kind of stiff when you touch the floor and start walking around. Oh yeah, I feel like a little tightness there, a little resistance. These are all warning signs. Then when you start to do something, you're like, oh, that doesn't feel right. Another warning sign. When you have pain and it goes away, another warning sign. When the pain does not go away, it's probably when you can do something. Yeah. But this is also the end of the end warning signs. And then injury soon to follow.
But that's usually the one that people pay attention to the most, when it's like that obvious that, oh, now I should see somebody.
Absolutely. So I like to start at the beginning warning signs. When I already know that there's one thing happening that's going to lead to another thing, I just then. You don't need to feel pain. It's okay. So these are the things, and also when you feel these things, you address them quicker. Right? When you're in your body, oh, you know what? Today I feel a little tightness here again. Can I please do a calf stretch? Absolutely. Right. Let's do that. Address that thing. Thank you very much. Continue. You feel the difference.
And you keep it from growing into something bigger that would inhibit your dancing or other activities more so. Mm-hmm. So what if I wanted to just have a sense of maybe what kind of specialist I wanted to see? You know, like is it possible to be able to tell from the kind of feelings that I'm getting in my body whether I need, you know, an osteopath, a massage therapist, an acupuncturist? You know, are there signals that we can be looking for?
For those kind of things, it's a little bit trickier because at that point, it's so internal that it's not easy to distinguish.
So that's some next level body sensitivity right there.
So when you get to that point, you're essentially looking for myself. We're going to look at things before they happen, and then I can say, hey, you know what? This tightness, we tried this technique. It didn't go away, but I know that acupuncture will do really well.
Because you've had the training and the different styles.
Exactly. That's where I spend most of my time, understanding different therapies, different practices, so that I myself can practice them, but then also see what's going to give the greatest good. Mm-hmm. So if I do a little, let's say, myofascial release, and I see it works really well, but it's not getting rid of the complete injury, then I'll refer you to a specialist that I know, that I work with people I know, and then you get the result you want, we come back, we continue on our original goal, and that kind of thing.
That's awesome, especially, you know, it's great whenever you have somebody who can refer people, like if they're willing to say, you know what, I don't have all the answers, but I know the people who do, or at least have the answers that I don't.
Absolutely, right? Absolutely. There's so many things that you don't know. I know a lot of things, you know a lot of things, but there's always things that fall outside our knowledge.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
It's human.
Yeah.
So to say to somebody, well, there's no solution for you, just because I don't know the solution, is not fair. So I need to know, well, you know what, I don't know everything, but I know somebody who knows more than me, this is them, and see what they say. You get that information, I can now relay it, say, okay, well, based on what they're saying, this is how we're going to set up the exercise, or this is how we're going to change the lifestyle, or this is how we're going to change our stretching.
Yeah.
To complement what's already being happening. Yeah.
So I noticed, you know, on your website, you open up with sort of challenging this assumption that, you know, as we get older, we develop these aches and pains in our body, and you know, we assume that that's just the price of growing up or growing older, right? So what are some things that you might recommend that dancers and other people can do specific to aging to keep themselves dancing and enjoying life longer?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a general, it's called stereotype, that people, right?
Sure, yeah.
That as you age, things get stiff, your back is supposed to hurt, your knees are supposed to hurt. Not so much. Although this happens to the majority of people, it doesn't mean it's normal. It's not normal for these things to happen, but most people don't maintain their bodies. So at the age of 50, 60, all those things that you didn't do start to show, right? 15 years of not stretching your legs might have a result on your movement, right? You might be leaning forward a little bit more. So the main thing is to maintain. Generally to do this, the best thing is always to have an assessment so you know where you're starting. Right? Yeah. So, okay, well, I know that my lower back is the stiffest. Do I have the money to deal with somebody as a professional? Maybe not. What can I do for myself? These are the things I can do for myself. These stretches, these things. If it gets to the point where I feel that it's getting too much, I go to the specialist, right, to figure these things out. But the number one thing is generally stretching.
Right.
The areas that are tight. That being said, there are some times that even the stretching will not release the tightness. So if it comes back or does not go away from stretching, we know we need something more. And that's generally going to be a little bit outside your understanding, which is okay. You find somebody who knows more, right? Any stiffness, tightness, constant headaches, constant calf pains, all these things that seem to just be reoccurring, generally have to do with lack of balance, which is lack of maintenance in the body. So as you get older, making sure you stretch, it's more important to warm up.
Right.
When you're 20, it doesn't make a difference just because you're 20, you're not 40 yet. When you're 40, if you maintain your body, it doesn't make a difference. But if you have not maintained your body, it starts to show. And this becomes more important then, to make sure you're doing your stretching and having your water and eating more to maintain your body, essentially.
It's the whole paying for your mistakes that you made when you were a kid all over again.
Yeah. The ankle you never addressed when you twist, this is going to be an issue later on.
Awesome, man. This is great. Well, that's what we have time for today. You can find Noel on his website at designfitness.ca. He also does consultations at the Joy of Dance Center in Toronto, Ontario, so you can check him out there. I want to thank you very much for watching. Thanks for being with us today, man.
Thank you very much for having me.
I will see you next week, and until then, happy dancing.